Let's take a closer look at what is being reported and what we can confirm so far. Recent claims suggest that Iran has targeted Nevatim Air Base, a key military installation in southern Israel known for housing advanced aircraft, including the F-35 fleet. However, it is important to separate confirmed information from circulating claims. According to early coverage from Reuters and AP News, there have been heightened tensions and military exchanges in the region. But specific details about direct, large-scale damage to infrastructure, such as runways, remain limited or unverified in public reporting. To understand why this matters, we need to consider the strategic role of Nevatim Air Base. It is one of Israel's most important Air Force facilities, supporting advanced operations and housing modern aircraft capabilities. Any confirmed disruption to such a base could affect operational readiness, even if temporarily. At the same time, reports like these often emerge quickly during periods of conflict, and not all details are immediately clear. BBC coverage has also emphasized the importance of verifying claims as information continues to develop. So the key question is not just what happened, but what is confirmed, what remains unclear, and how this situation may evolve moving forward. To understand the significance of these claims, it helps to look at the broader context behind the situation. Tensions between Israel and Iran have been building for years, shaped by regional rivalries, security concerns, and ongoing conflicts involving allied groups across the Middle East. Israel has consistently viewed Iran's military presence and influence in neighboring countries as a strategic threat, while Iran has criticized Israel's policies and actions in the region. Within this context, Nevatim Air Base plays a critical role. It is one of Israel's primary Air Force installations and is known to host advanced aircraft, including F-35 jets, which are central to Israel's air capabilities. Because of this, the base is often considered a high-value strategic asset. According to background reporting from BBC News and Reuters, the region has experienced repeated cycles of escalation, including missile exchanges, airstrikes, and indirect confrontations involving allied forces. These developments have created an environment where sudden claims or reports can emerge quickly. It is also important to note that during periods of conflict, information can be incomplete or contested. Initial reports may differ, and details often become clearer over time as multiple sources verify events independently. So while current claims are drawing attention, they are part of a longer pattern of regional tension. Understanding that background helps explain why reports involving key military locations are taken seriously, and why verification is essential before drawing conclusions. Here's what we know so far based on currently available reporting and where uncertainty still remains. Multiple outlets, including Reuters and AP News, have reported heightened military activity in the region, including missile launches and defensive responses. However, specific claims about a direct strike on Nevatim Air Base and the extent of any runway damage are not fully confirmed in public reporting at this time. In fast-moving situations like this, information often comes from a mix of official statements, media reports, and early-stage claims. Some sources suggest that military infrastructure may have been targeted, while others emphasize that details are still being verified. This is a common pattern in conflict coverage, where clarity develops gradually. To break this down step by step, there are confirmed reports of increased tensions and exchanges in the region. There are emerging claims about specific targets, including military sites. The extent of damage, particularly to critical infrastructure like runways, remains unclear. According to BBC News, officials often take time to confirm operational details, especially when it involves sensitive military installations. As a result, early narratives may shift as more reliable information becomes available. At this stage, the key takeaway is that while the situation is active, not all claims have been independently verified. Understanding that distinction is essential for forming an accurate picture of events. To understand the deeper significance of these reports, it helps to look beyond the immediate claims and consider the strategic implications. If a facility like Nevatim Air Base were to face disruption, even temporarily, it could have operational consequences. Air bases are not just locations for aircraft. They are complex systems involving runways, maintenance, logistics, and coordination. Any interruption to these systems may affect how quickly and effectively air operations can be carried out. However, it is equally important to recognize that modern military infrastructure is often designed with redundancy. Analysts cited by Reuters have previously noted that advanced air forces typically maintain alternative operational capabilities, meaning that even if one site is affected, others may compensate. From a broader perspective, claims involving high-value targets can also carry strategic messaging. According to insights referenced by BBC News, actions or even reported actions can influence perception, signaling capability or intent without necessarily changing the overall balance immediately. This raises an important point. The impact of such developments is not only physical, but also psychological and strategic. Markets, governments, and observers react not just to confirmed damage, but to what those developments might indicate about future risks. At this stage, analysts suggest that the situation should be viewed with caution. While the potential implications are significant, they depend heavily on verified details, which are still emerging. To better understand the situation, it's helpful to look at how analysts and institutions are interpreting these developments. Experts cited by Reuters emphasize that in fast-moving conflicts, early reports often require careful verification. Military analysts note that claims involving critical infrastructure, such as air bases or runways, are particularly sensitive, and confirmation typically comes in stages rather than immediately. From a strategic perspective, analysts suggest that even unconfirmed reports can influence decision-making. Governments may adjust their posture based on perceived risks, while markets respond to uncertainty rather than only confirmed outcomes. This is why situations like this often lead to broader reactions, even when details are still emerging. According to coverage from BBC News, defense experts often look at patterns rather than isolated events. They consider factors such as frequency of incidents, types of targets, and responses from both sides. This approach helps them assess whether a situation represents a temporary escalation or part of a larger shift. At the same time, institutional perspectives highlight the importance of caution. Analysts frequently distinguish between confirmed facts and operational speculation, especially when dealing with high-profile military claims. Overall, expert insight at this stage points to a measured interpretation. The situation is significant, but its full impact depends on verified information and how events unfold in the coming days, while some interpretations focus on potential strategic impact. There are also more cautious perspectives that question how much can be concluded at this stage. One alternative view is that early reports may be overstating the scale or certainty of the event. As noted in ongoing coverage by AP News, initial information during periods of conflict is often incomplete, and details can change as verification improves. From this perspective, it is possible that the situation is more limited than some claims suggest. Another interpretation focuses on operational resilience. Even if a military site like Nevatim Air Base were affected in some way, analysts point out that modern air forces typically maintain backup systems and alternative bases. This means that the broader operational impact may be less immediate than assumed. There is also the question of strategic signaling. Some observers suggest that reports of strikes on high-profile locations can serve to communicate capability or intent, regardless of the level of physical damage. This does not necessarily change the situation on the ground, but may influence perception and response. Taken together, these alternative views highlight the importance of caution. Rather than drawing firm conclusions, many analysts recommend focusing on confirmed information while remaining aware of how interpretations can vary. Beyond the immediate military and political context, situations like this can have broader real-world effects, even when details are still developing. One of the first areas to respond is the global economy. According to Reuters, periods of heightened tension in the Middle East often lead to cautious behavior in financial markets. Investors tend to react not only to confirmed events, but also to uncertainty, which can influence stock prices, energy markets, and investor confidence. Energy markets are particularly sensitive. While this situation is not directly linked to the Strait of Hormuz, the broader region plays a central role in global oil supply. As noted in reporting by BBC News, any increase in regional tension can raise concerns about potential disruptions, which may affect oil prices over time. There can also be indirect effects on everyday life. Changes in energy prices can influence transportation costs, supply chains, and inflation. While these impacts may not be immediate, they often develop gradually as markets respond to ongoing developments. From a political perspective, events like this can shape international relations and policy decisions. Governments may adjust their strategies, increase monitoring, or engage in diplomatic efforts depending on how the situation evolves. Overall, even without full confirmation of all details, the broader impact lies in how uncertainty influences markets, policy, and public perception across different regions. Looking ahead, the focus now shifts to how this situation may develop in the coming days and what indicators analysts will be watching. At this stage, several possibilities remain. One scenario is that the situation stabilizes with no confirmed large-scale damage and limited follow-up escalation. In this case, the current reports may remain part of a short-term cycle of tension without leading to broader consequences. Another possibility is a gradual increase in activity, where further developments such as additional exchanges or official statements clarify the situation. Analysts suggest that in such cases, responses often unfold step by step rather than through immediate escalation. According to assessments referenced by AP News, attention will likely remain on key signals, including official confirmations, satellite analysis, and responses from both sides. These factors can help determine whether the situation represents a temporary incident or part of a larger pattern. What remains important is the distinction between confirmed facts and evolving information. As more details become available, the understanding of events may shift. For now, the situation should be viewed as developing. The next updates, whether confirming, clarifying, or reshaping current reports, will play a critical role in defining what this moment ultimately represents.